Hi, everybody, and welcome to Ed Randall's Talking Rams. Here on this video series, we are paying tribute to those men and women, members of the Athletic Hall of Fame, who distinguished themselves on the field of play and brought honor to Fordham University. We hope you'll pass the word about this series to all your friends in the Fordham community and have them tune in. We continue our series of conversations with one of the most academically decorated students in Fordham history. A 2000 graduate of the Gabelli School of Business, she was a three-time COSIDA Academic All-American, the only Fordham student athlete ever to do so, and while starring in two different sports, volleyball and rowing. She was also named the 1999 Atlantic 10 Student Athlete of the Year for volleyball and was Fordham's first ever three-time recipient of the Hobbs Award, presented to the Rams' Outstanding Female Student Athlete of the Year. Following her career at Fordham, she earned a master's and a PhD in economics at the University of California, San Diego. Excellent preparation for her work as a principal economist with the Federal Reserve Board in Washington. We welcome back to Fordham a student athlete who made an indelible mark, Hall of Fame class 2006, and you can visit her plaque in the Rose Hill Gym, Cindy Vojtech. It is great to have you with us. California native, how did you hear about Fordham?
Actually, it was the volleyball coach. I had never heard of the school, but the coach at the time sent me materials because she saw me at a tournament, and this is a kind of a usual recruiting mechanism. And Fordham was checking all the boxes I wanted. I was definitely exploring going to a Catholic university. I am a cradle Catholic, and that was something of interest for my college studies. I wanted to study finance. I ultimately wanted to work on Wall Street as kind of the first job out of school. And I definitely wanted to go away for school as kind of that lived experience of just immersing myself into the community. And the other nice thing about being recruited for athletics, I got a recruiting trip. So, I mean, visiting Fordham from California would be, a bit of an expense in the exploratory process. And so I also got that. And so I stepped foot on campus, and that was yes.
Had you ever been to New York before?
I don't think we really went into the city proper. I did live on the East Coast in Virginia for a bit when I was growing up, and we would do trips, but I don't think we went to New York.
Mm-hmm. And so you learn about Fordham, you fall in love with Fordham when you step on the campus, and then came the award of a full scholarship.
Yes, I was still, that was, I didn't find out about the possibility of the award until February. The February of my senior year.
Were you surprised?
I knew I was in the running, or I guess first I was surprised that that I guess it wasn't clear in the materials at that time, I guess, how many presidential scholarships were available. But the coach at the time told me that these were things possible. At the time, she was trying with the athletic scholarships that she had. She was trying to recruit from other positions, but when she saw my transcripts and kind of my record, she thought I'd have a shot at it. And so she that's why the conversation was continuing on trying to get me to come out for the team. Mm-hmm. So it was a possibility, but I mean, until you really hear the yes, you can't really pin your hopes on all these things, right? You still have to look at other opportunities.
Was the awarding of the scholarship the transformative moment that you said, boy, this is great, and I'm going to love Fordham?
Yeah, I mean, there was no close competitor in my mind for the other schools I was talking about for playing volleyball, because I definitely wanted to play volleyball in college, and just the whole package. It was just knocking everyone off there was no comparison.
How young were you when you first played volleyball?
I guess, well, I really didn't start until high school. For Southern California, that's a bit late. I had the advantage that well, I have an older sister, and I went to her games when she started playing in high school. I was like, this looks like fun. I grew up really being a soccer player. Um, and in California, actually, the soccer season is in the winter. So you can play you can play volleyball in the fall, soccer in the winter, and I did track, I guess, in the spring. So I saw my sister play, and actually the high school coach, was a teacher at the junior high. So she used that as an opportunity to vet people on trying to like recruit her recruiting stream. So I was definitely knew that this was a thing that was a cool opportunity to explore. And I got more serious by my sophomore year when I actually played travel volleyball, which is really what you have to do to play at college. Because that's really going to be how you're going to get recruited.
Do you remember your first day on campus as a freshman, or first days when you were getting acclimated to, I'm in the Bronx, I'm on the Rose Hill campus?
So what's actually pretty awesome about being a fall athlete, I guess it's pros and cons, but we have preseason. And so you come to campus when not everyone else is back yet. And as a freshman, that was great because you got a lay of the land, and you had your other teammates that were upperclassmen that could, you could ask questions and not be the stupid freshman, I guess. So, and also my father flew out with me to help set me up, like, just like get, we weren't going to ship everything out. So like, just, different dorm room accommodations, helping with my computer, that kind of stuff. And so really those first weeks were like volleyball camp. And it was a nice transition. It let you really get your feet under you. Yeah. And so that definitely remember that. And I mean, daily doubles and stuff. So it was also soreness and August heat in the gym, which was also memorable for the wrong reasons. But yeah, I definitely remember those days.
But when you first came to Fordham and you walked on the Rose Hill campus, what was it about it that just captured your heart?
For the recruiting trip, or I think it was just, it felt like a place I can make a home. It's not, because I guess I did, I guess another time I went to New York, I was on a recruiting trip to another school, but like the several of the other New York schools have more of an urban setting that you don't really just have a nice campus. I do like the green campus aspect. I did not want a city experience for college. And I think just the beauty, there's nice green spaces, the architecture is beautiful. It just feels comfortable. I guess I used to joke that I was studying abroad because I was going, from Southern California to the Bronx, but you don't feel like you're in the Bronx. You feel you're like on you just don't feel that urban setting, but you still have the advantage or the wonderful opportunities that, access to a huge city like New York gets you. It was very useful when I, down the road when I was doing internships.
Did you come with a major in mind?
Yes, this might not, definitely not probably might be the outlier of folks in the college experience. I wanted to study finance since like grade school. I fell in love with I love numbers. I like the excitement of, or just trying to understand what were driving the prices of the stock market. I knew I didn't want to be a broker. I was still trying to figure out exactly what, but just the energy, and I like reading the business page section. So yeah, finance was kind of for sure. Didn't change at all.
Favorite subject, least favorite subject?
The finance courses were probably the best. Least favorite, I did minor in computer science. I really enjoyed those too, but least favorite, perhaps I would say probably managerial accounting. I liked financial accounting, but the managerial accounting was a bit not fun. I wasn't sure how I was going to use it, and I haven't used that since. I've used financial accounting.
Tell us about a professor, Cindy, who inspired you and made a lasting impression.
Oh, can I choose one?
No, you can choose as many as you want.
I mean, I feel like I had so many great professors. I mean, in finance, I had Professor George for 3 finance classes. After I had him for the first one, I tried to figure out what else he taught. Professor DiUlio for economics was lovely. Professor Conrad for a law class. I took 2 law classes. There was the requirement and the kind of contracts follow up. I mean, those are just kind of coming immediately to mind, but just the theology classes and philosophy classes were also for me very interesting, because I did public schools all the way before university. So this was kind of just a new endeavor. I thought it was interesting that, at the time, the Globe program was, being pushed for, but it's still, I think, a part of the business school. But I think some of the students really like to do that because it got them out of theology. And I was like, no. I really enjoy this. Yeah, a lot of good memories in the classroom as well.
Favorite building?
I guess a toss-up between Queen's Court, because that's where it started. That was my first dorm. But also right next door is the church, and it's just a beautiful and obviously a sacred and lovely space to be in.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned Queen's Court. So tell us about the places you lived in your time at Fordham.
Yeah, freshman year was Queen's Court, and then I lived in Martyrs Court sophomore year, and Finley my junior year, and then Walsh Hall my senior year.
Which did you like the most?
They all had their, I guess, pros and cons. I kind of liked, well, I mean, I think Queen's Court still wins. I was one of the few lucky ones that also, like, on only on the one wing or arm, I guess, of the building, you also get a private bathroom, which is kind of crazy to have as a freshman. So that was lovely.
You had grown up in California with a private bathroom.
Yeah, I mean, I have one sister, so I guess we shared that bathroom, but
yeah,
it wasn't too bad.
Favorite hangouts when you had a moment to hang out?
I was gonna say I didn't. I mean, I had a pretty packed schedule. I think it was, I don't know that I had just one hangout. I was just really enjoying and being able to thrive in so many areas. I mean, obviously athletics takes up a lot of time. So, you're in the gym or on the water or on an erg machine or in the weight room. I don't know that I had a real hangout. I'm gonna have to pass on that. It's just kind of, time management. You're just squeezing it all in.
You always had somewhere to go. You want to take a moment now to talk about the food in the cafeteria?
So people kind of, I guess I get kind of teased by family and friends currently that I really don't have problems eating the same thing over and over again. So that's well suited for cafeteria living. So I was fine with it.
Your schedule was so compressed while you were at Fordham, but did you work at all while you were at Fordham?
Only during the summer. I definitely did internships, because that was, I mean, especially in the business field, business, like, broadly speaking, it could be marketing, it could be accounting, it could be finance. Just internships are just the way to go. I always recommend that to folks, because it's important to learn what you like and what you don't like. And an internship is a great opportunity to figure out even what you don't like, because it can save you time down the road. So yeah, summer internships were the way really that I worked.
Where did you intern?
So between my sophomore and junior years, I interned at Arco, which the oil company. I actually did it out in LA. At the time, they were they managed their retirement plan. So on the one floor, you had like the portfolio managers and the traders and the IT and that kind of stuff. And so I really floated around with the IT person, but then I got that perspective of seeing that whole kind of, it's almost like a microcosm of like a mutual fund, if you will.
Mhm.
And then between my junior year and my senior year, I interned at Lehman Brothers in their operational division. And that really well suited or served me later when I was interviewing for investment banks. And I did get placed at Lehman Brothers in their investment bank.
Mhm.
And I guess given the history, to be clear, I left the company in 2003. So thankfully I dodged.
You're the reason they collapsed. Because you were not there. That's the reason they collapsed. I'd like to make that point.
Well, as an economist, I think I have to point out that correlation is not causation.
No relationship between your life and your great work and the collapse of Lehman Brothers. Separate stories.
Separate.
Okay. Let's talk a little. But you were also active in the campus ministry.
Yes.
I get the sense that was very important to you.
Oh yes, definitely. So I was an acolyte or like an altar server most weekends at the church. I mean, some other great memories for me were the Easter Vigil Triduum masses were just over the top beautiful experiences. And obviously spiritual lifting. And I did participate in several of the retreat programs that were happening at the time. Father Mullen was great leader of that program. And those opportunities for the retreats are just so reinvigorating and a great way to just kind of keep your priorities straight.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little sports. Tell us about your first days on the volleyball team.
Well, it's back to those hot days in August in the gym, doing double days and stuff. It's always when you're coming to a new team, you're just trying to fit. It's a different culture, learning the personalities, and also trying to find out what how you can support the team, what your role is. Mm-hmm. I think I don't think anyone joins a team and doesn't want to be a starter. So there is a competition, but it's also just figuring out like the energy and the flow and kind of, and so that those are always the first days, and it's like I said, it was like a volleyball camp those first weeks. And so what was nice was being able to just focus on that for a bit and get grounded in that. Before everything else got kicked off, with academics obviously in school and everyone else on the campus. So it was really nice to have that focused time, I think.
What drove you as an athlete?
I don't know that there's one thing. I still consider myself an athlete. I've played sports. I started with soccer in kindergarten. And now I do squash and I do triathlons. I guess I have a half marathon in March. And so I enjoy working out. It's a stress relief for me. And the social aspect is nice too. I've just some friends that I run with. Obviously with squash, you play against someone, so you have that person. It's easier to coordinate one other person's schedule than a whole volleyball team. So that I figured that volleyball was off the cards, or even rowing was kind of off the cards after college. So I like the competition aspect of it. It gets you motivated. There's just so much there's so many parts that I like about it that I'm not sure there's the one driver, as it's kind of all of it together. And of course I've associated so many fond memories and stuff and good experiences with it. Of course you get injuries and that kind of stuff, but since I know the other side of it, it's easy to push through that. And I'm consider myself blessed that I, can still be very active. We're not getting any younger. The recovery time's a little longer.
Talk, if you will, about handling pressure as an athlete.
I think it's a good life skill that you've learned. You learn because yeah, there are a lot of pressure moments, and I think having those tools in your head of I guess what the best way for me to describe this is now that I play squash, so a lot of people that play squash, at least on the women's side, I think come into it later in life. And I can lean on the tools that I have from other sports on when points are tight and that kind of stuff. So when I've talked to other women on kind of my approach, sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, these people haven't had this experience. They might have a work setting experience, and I think both are related and can support each other. But I mean, learning that in a athletic setting, I think is actually a way I find balance. I do manage to this day. I still wear a lot of hats. I guess I didn't to character trait, I guess. It helped. I guess I've learned how to try to compartmentalize a bit and kind of focus at the task at hand, which is kind of what you have to do under pressure, and just be intentional on what you're doing. That was a bit of a rambling answer, but I think that's the best I got for you.
That's just fine. Thank you very much. Did you ever surprise yourself in either sport?
I don't know what I really had as expectations. I think I just tried to show up and do my best. I mean, the rowing experience was also just phenomenal because I was completely new to it. And so it was rather just reinvigorating to I described it as kind of having meeting another family. So the team you have, I had my volleyball team and the friends. But then you come to a new team, and so you get these new interactions that are just not really nice to learn about different people and different experiences. And rowing, I'd never done it before, so I guess I was most surprised there at how well I was able to how much I was able to accomplish in the sport, and how much I was able to support the team on that. I mean, that women's 8 did very well for the program. And 3 of us were novices. We had a freshman, myself, and we were able to we were able to convince one of the swimmers to also row. So I think it was just the energy was really great. And yeah, I mean, I had no idea what I would do on erg times and that kind of stuff, but that I think those were surprising to me.
You graduated as Fordham's all-time leader in games played, matches played, and digs, and was also tied for first on Fordham's all-time block assist list. Which of those are you most proud of?
I mean, most games played and most matches, it's I guess I was able to dodge too many injuries. So I guess if I had a way to describe what I try to do, especially on the volleyball team, is I tried to be stable and try to be consistent. And so I think those are markers of that. Just trying to, if anyone sees me play, I'm not, I think different players have different roles on the team. And I didn't consider myself as the person that would like just pump up the team. That's just not my personality. But if I could just be consistent, and if things are going wrong, help do that, kind of pull back and get just level, have a level head and get through. That's where I thought I could add the most. And so I guess those statistics consistent with that, I would, yeah.